Maddison had been saving Blizzard Peak for a special night. The strain was rumored to be one of the most intense, said to make the world feel like an icy storm. That snowy evening, alone in her remote cabin, she took a few deep hits, savoring the frosty, minty taste, and settled in by the fireplace. At first, she felt relaxed, her mind wandering as the high set in. But soon, the temperature in the room seemed to drop. She wrapped herself in a blanket, shivering despite the fire's glow. The snow outside was picking up, the wind howling against the cabin walls, shaking the windows. Maddison leaned forward to check the window, and her heart nearly stopped. Outside, barely visible through the thick snowfall, stood a figure cloaked in white, unmoving, its face as pale as the snow around it, twisted into a grimace. She stared, unable to look away. The figure seemed to be watching her, its hollow black eyes fixed directly on her, and its skin frozen and cracked as if it had been in the cold for far too long. Maddison shook her head, telling herself it was just the strain, just her mind playing tricks. She squeezed her eyes shut, but when she opened them, the figure was closer, its twisted face pressed against the glass, breath frosting the window. A shiver ran down her spine as she watched the figure's cracked lips part, whispering something inaudible. She strained to hear, and just barely, over the howl of the wind, she caught the words, "Let me in." Panicking, Maddison scrambled to lock the doors, her heart racing. She could hear the figure outside, scratching against the cabin walls, circling the house, whispering her name over and over in a voice that sounded like ice breaking. She pressed her hands over her ears, but the whispers grew louder, echoing in her head. Then, with a loud bang, the lights flickered and went out. Maddison grabbed her flashlight, frantically shining it around the room, plunging the cabin into darkness. The beam of light landed on the front door, where frost had begun to creep up from the bottom, spreading across the wood. She backed away, but suddenly, the door burst open, snow and ice blasting into the room. Standing in the doorway was the figure, taller now, more menacing. The temperature dropped even further, her breath fogging up in the freezing air, and the whispers grew louder, closer, with icicles hanging from its outstretched hands. The walls, and even the ceiling. Maddison's flashlight flickered, and as the light dimmed, its face twisted into an even darker grimace. It stepped inside, each footfall leaving a trail of frost that spread across the floor. She saw the figure's face inches from hers, its frozen breath chilling her skin. In its hollow black eyes, she saw something dark and endless. The flashlight died, leaving her alone in the pitch black, with only the freezing, skeletal touch of the figure wrapping around her. The last sound she heard was a whisper, cold and cruel, saying, "Welcome to the peak." And as she felt the frost spread over her skin, Maddison became just another frozen shadow, lost forever to the endless winter.